Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Rob from the ProWresBlog here, www.ProWresBlog.blogspot.com. Hey, coming back today, I got some rings to review. This one was called the Rings Mega Battle Tournament '95 First Round from October 21st, 1995. If you've seen my blog, I've reviewed a little bit of Rings. Rings isn't a very well covered promotion at all. I've honestly had less than probably two conversations ever about it. So, not many people have seen it, and I don't think any people know about it. Everyone claims to know Volk Han, but I'm pretty sure no one's ever seen more than maybe a match about him. And, it's kind of interesting. So about rings, it's a shoot style promotion, similar to UWFI and some of the other promotions at the same time. And, it's pretty good. They're a bit more realistic and less pro wrestling like, but, it's still pro wrestling at its core, and they can definitely produce some good stuff. You probably heard of Volk Han, who had mentioned, really great wrestler, definitely an all-time legend for sure. They got some other really good guys who I like Andrei Kopylov, who's definitely right up there, and hopefully more people will check him out. So, the Rings Mega Battle Tournament is kind of their big tournament every year. Japan likes tournaments. I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on tournaments just because they do so many of them. But yeah, it's their big tournament. They got all the big names in there of rings at the time, and this is the first round of that one. The first match on the show was Mitsuya Nagai versus Gojitsu Bakuri. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some really odd and strange Russian and Holland names here, and I'm going to screw them up. Like, I just never heard these names before, so they're gonna be messed up, and I apologize for that. This was kind of an odd match. The work was pretty good. But Bakori looked really good. He hit some really nice throws. He was aggressive. He hit a super sweet Karelins lift that I loved, and that was what he was doing. I like that part. The problem is he'd hit like good throws and be aggressive and look awesome in beast mode and all that, and then he'd go to his corner and rub off his nose. He got like a busted open nose somehow, and he would go like wipe it off, and it'd be right in the middle of the match. And it's like, you can't do that, man. I don't think rings had time limits or anything like that. So he's literally just stopping in the middle of a match like WWE does when someone gets bloody, and it just looked awful. It really ruined the match, and it was totally awkward, and it just didn't work. But this was all the Bakori show, and he did look good. Just the stuff going to the ring, going to the side really killed it here. Um, Nagai actually won this one, and I didn't even know he won it. Bakori was on top of him. He had the guillotine choke, like neck crank type of move, and I thought he won, but apparently underneath, Nagai like really straightened out his leg and posted it, and he was working it with the knee bar, and Bakori submitted, and you really wouldn't even know unless you paid super close attention, because I didn't know, so that was kind of strange. But yeah, that was the match right there. All right, next one, we have another name I'm going to screw up. I don't even know if I should bother, but it's Mikhail Ilakoin. That's the best I can do versus Nikolai Zoev. Ilkoin got the win here with a type of Buffalo Sleeper. Not exactly it. Maybe even a little bit of an Anaconda Vice, but kind of had him in a headlock, and then he hooked his arm in a figure four, and it looked pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it was a really nice spot, and this match was great. This was one of the better rings matches I've ever seen. Zuev is just the man. He is completely like Volk Han. I mean, he looks just like a clone of him in the ring, and I loved it. If you're gonna clone someone, Volk Han is the man to clone in rings, and that's what he did. And it was just really awesome. They had so many different cool like shoot maneuvers and stuff that you wouldn't think would happen. Mikhail had he had a sharpshooter, which was pretty neat. He definitely didn't expect to see that, and he also had a version of Milano Collection AT's AT lock, which was really neat. Zuev was just good. He did Ilkoin tried to throw him over the shoulder, and he blocked it, which was really neat. And I just love the way he moves. He moves like a technical master, and he just, he was just all on him. He did this weird tie up on him that was really sweet, and this dude was just a man. This was a great fight, and I really loved it. There was also a really cool spot where the other guy went for like a rolling knee bar, and Zoev caught him into an armbar, which was really cool because you don't see that type of stuff that much. So I really enjoyed that, and I just totally recommend this one. This was great rings action. I think even a non-rings fan could probably get into this. So I rated this 3 3/4 stars. This was awesome. I want to see more of Zuev because this dude's the man. Next up, we had Yoshihisa Yamamoto versus Bitsudi Amarin. There wasn't that much to this one here. Yamamoto got the win pretty quick with a choke. Amarin just looked really uncomfortable and clueless, and it just didn't work. And Yamamoto's kind of a weird dude anyway, so. But the one really cool thing I like from this match was Amarin was wearing like a gi, and he had the bottom half with the pants and belt. So Yamamoto would like literally grab him by the belt and pick him up like a child and just toss him and lift him wherever he wanted. And I like that part. I thought that was pretty cool. And that was it for that one. Next up, we had Hans Nyman versus Ramazzi Buzari-Shvili. Yeah, good luck with that one, right? Nyman looked okay here as he won by a KO after a bunch of different shots, but he's a striker. I don't really get into the strikers much in rings because you can't punch people in rings. So I mean, it's a problem. You can only hit them with, open palm strikes. So it looks more like a slap fest at times. But this was all his show. He just got in all kinds of strikes and shots, and he won this one pretty quick. Yeah, I mean, it was a good KO, and he got some nice stuff in, but I'm just not a fan of strikers, as you'll see later on. Next up, we had one of my favorites. We had Andrei Kopylov versus Grom Zaza. Gotta love that name. Yeah, so Andrei's he's one of the great people that you won't really hear much about rings, but he's really good. He can sell. He's super good on the mat, and he looks like I don't know, your gym teacher or something. So that's what makes him worth fun because this dude's bad and he's awesome, and but he really just kind of looks like your uncle or something. He doesn't look that odd. So yeah. But it was good stuff. From the beginning, Andrei hit this really cool takedown. He had him in like a they were in like a tie up, and he just dropped on, and he like posted them up with his leg and flipped them right over. I love that. That was so cool. Yeah, Andrei. The big story here was Andrei mostly just getting his butt whooped striking wise. Grom really kicked the crap. He really beat the crap out of him and got tons of shots in. Grom may not be like the biggest technical master, but the dude can strike, and he's really physical and just constantly on you, and I like that. So that was pretty cool. Andrei hit this weird part. He hit like he tried to hit like a standing shining wizard, and that was kind of neat. He kicked him in the knee, and then he tried to kick him above, and it didn't really work, but it was cool. Grom also hit like he hit like a grounded sleeper with his body wrapped around him, and Andrei did another really cool move. Grom charged into him like a spear, and Andrei rolled with it and went backwards, and he rolled over top of him and got on top. That was so cool. I really like that. And the finish came. It was really weird. How should I put this? Andrei was on top of him from behind, and he basically figure forward his arm with his legs, and then he rolled over top, and he put him in this absolutely nasty armbar to do that. And it completely stretched out his arm, and it was over immediately. Grom tapped so quick, and it looked like it really sucked. And that was it for this one. It was a little bit long, but it was a really good match. Tons of cool moves and spots, and Kopilov's the man, and these two just worked really well together. Kopylov also got his eyes swelling because he got hit and slapped so much, and he really did look tired out here. But this was a good match. I really recommend it. Really good stuff. Next up, we had the legendary Volk Han versus Peter O'Ellie. Oellie's kind of funny because in Japan, they don't really have R's or L's, so his name is just complete disaster. They really screwed it up. It's like Urar. It just doesn't work at all. I get the feeling that O'Ellie had this had like a kickboxing or Muay Thai background, so he was just all about striking, and he was really good. He was pretty aggressive. He hit some nice strikes, and but he really didn't know anything on the mat aside from guillotine chokes. And Volk's Volk, and he just waited. He kind of took it, and when he got the chance, he got him on the ground, and he hit a really nice straight armbar, and he got the win. It was over in like 4 minutes and 14 seconds, so it was pretty good for what it was. But I think it really could have been better if they gave him more time. Next up, we had Bitsudi Terial versus Dmitry Petkov. I kind of like Petkov. I've been wanting like a really fat dude in rings. I don't know why. Just like, all these dudes are pretty athletic, but it's just cool to see like a Vader type or something like that. And Petkov's not really that big, but he's not that huge, but he's pretty tall, and it was cool. Yeah. So they did Petkov's really nice. He does all kinds of throws, which are really cool. He does suplexes, so I'm guessing he is like a wrestling or sambo background, and it looks like Terriel has like a karate background or something of that nature. The cool spots here were Petkov picked Terriel up in a fireman's carry and he slammed him, which was really neat. And the finish came here with I think Terriel kicked him in the nuts. I really think he kicked him in the nuts here. He did a spin kick and he definitely got some of the stomach, but I'm pretty sure he got some of the groin here too. And this dude was like gone immediately. So they might want to have the referee check on that one because that looked a little bit low. But it was a fun match. I really liked it. Petkov was really good with the suplexes and using his size, which no one else really on this show was doing. And Terriel's what he is, and he doesn't really look that great, but whatever. Yeah, I gave this one 3 stars. I enjoyed this one, and I want to see more of Petkov. I want to see what he's up to. All right, and we then went to our last match of the night. We had Akira Maeda versus Dick Verridge, or Dick Fly. I don't know how his name is pronounced. It's really hard to kind of do it, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Akira Maeda in rings because he's going to win most of the time, and he usually fights a foreigner who's not very good. And in this case, Dick Fly is not very good at all. He's just a striker. I'm not a huge striker fan in rings, but he looks cool for sure. But Maeda won this one in under 5 minutes, so I guess they really didn't have much faith in it at all. And the finish was neat. Basically, Dick Fly came into him with some knees. Maeda caught one of the knees and put him right down immediately in a grounded leg lock and took the win. So that was it. Not really a fan of either guy, so whatever. And that's actually it. The show went about 2 hours. So yeah. My overall thoughts was that it was a pretty good show. I was really surprised by this. You really got to be patient to be a fan of rings, and you really got to kind of be a true fan of pro wrestling because, you're not going to see people jumping off the top, hardcore, or anything like that. I mean, this is as simple and basic pro wrestling as it can be, and that's what it was here. But I really liked it. I think even if you aren't a fan of rings, you could probably find something you like here. As Zuev, Ilkoin were pretty good. Kopylov, Zaza was really good. Petkov, Terriel was kind of fun, and there was some good stuff. So I definitely think people could get into it, and I definitely recommend those. My biggest takes from this were that Zoev's awesome and definitely on scale with Volk Han, which we'll have to check out in the future, and just more Andrei Kopylov love, of course, and want to see more of Mr. Petkov there. So I do recommend checking this out. Most of the matches are under 7 minutes, so it's not that bad, and you can see the main stuff in under 20, so I think you should check it out. It's good stuff. It's on YouTube, so you can check it out for free, which I did, and yeah. So that's going to be it here. If you want to see more, if you want to see the pictures and gifs of this review, so you can get everything that I'm talking about better, go check it out at www.ProWresBlog.blogspot.com. Totally recommend it, and thank you very much for listening. You have a good one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.